Before we get started, I just want to say congratulations to LeBron James on yet another outstanding milestone in his career. To have the kind of background that he had as a kid, to become one of the most hyped high school basketball players ever, and then become one of the most glorified and, just beloved basketball players in the NBA. I mean, and it's warranted to a certain extent because he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal basketball player, highly intelligent. He's also a great man off the court, which makes you admire what he does, And surpassing Michael Jordan in any category, would make headlines because a lot of people consider Michael Jordan to be the greatest player of all time. Now, nothing I say from henceforth is a direct shot at LeBron. I'm not a LeBron hater. I could give two shits about bashing another man for what they do. All right? I just love to talk sports. This is just what I love to do. I don't make these videos for any other reason but to just get my own thoughts and perspective out there about a lot of these basketball, football, baseball, whatever topics that I find interesting, that I want to talk about. And, I don't spend my time online trolling anybody. Now, that being said, LeBron James is one of the most fabricated, authentic. He's one of the most fabricated, authentic guys that I've ever seen. And the reason why I say that is because for the first, 8 years of his career, LeBron James was super humble. He was all about his teammates. All this shit you hear about LeBron nowadays, you didn't hear about that his first run with Cleveland. And something told me as soon as he gets his first ring, which that's what he wanted, his first ring. As soon as he gets his first ring, we're going to see a different LeBron James. And I knew this because nobody in today's world is that humble, is that soft-spoken, is that overcome with love for his teammates, especially in the NBA world. You have a lot of agendas from players, owners, GMs. It's hard to really be loyal to anybody other than yourself. So I always thought that was fake. I always thought that was a fabricated look that he put on for the media, for his fans. And I'm not saying that he's a fake individual. I will never try to assassinate him as a man, a father, a brother, husband, whatever. I would never try to go at him like that. But as a basketball player, he's one of the fakest individuals I've ever seen. And this is what separates him from Kobe. And this is why I have a lot more respect for Kobe as a basketball player. Kobe didn't give a shit about anything. He didn't care about public perception. This dude willingly, for the last 4 or 5 years of his NBA career, allowed his team to suck bad, because I would rather this team suck bad while I'm at the head than for somebody else to come in and we succeed under somebody else's rule. And I admire that. I admire that. Kobe was a very stubborn individual, and he was a very prideful individual. Totally respected. But LeBron is the opposite of that. I believe he has all the same agendas that Kobe had, but he puts on his face. He in the same respect, he's like a liberal. Like a liberal is somebody that will put on a face to get you comfortable while engineering all these other shit behind your back. It's like while you're paying attention to this hand, he's using this hand to do all this bullshit. And that's what LeBron does. This is why I call him a fake individual. And I didn't really have that notion about him until his first run with his second run with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That whole stretch, that the whole Machiavellian tactics that the dude used was just so blatant and apparent. And then his fans were so in love with the guy that it was hard for anybody to really knock him off that perch. Not that you would want to, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, man, this was an amazing feat. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just something about this that makes it almost odd in a way, Like, one of the things that I'm talking about, the reason why it makes it odd is because LeBron prided himself on being a pass-first player, but since his, third year in the league, this dude has averaged 25 points or more every single year. Like, you pride yourself, you're not a scorer. You are not a scorer. You make that clear. You're super adamant about it, that you're not a scorer. I am not a scorer. But you're averaging 25 points a game. I believe he's averaging about 27 points, 28 points, 27 points for his career a game. How are you not a scorer, bro? Like, when you look at the pass first players in NBA history, you're talking about John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. None of those guys, I don't believe at any point in their career was top 5 in scoring. None of those guys. Even Chris Paul. Chris Paul is a phenomenal scorer, but he's more of a pass-first guy. And I'm not saying that if Chris Paul wanted to, he could be one of those top guys in scoring, when he was in New Orleans. I'm not saying that he couldn't do it. I'm just saying that it wasn't a priority for him. And a lot of times when you see LeBron not surpass 20 points, it's because he had a really rough shooting game. Like a really rough offensive game. And LeBron cares about his stats. If he tries to say he doesn't, he's a damn liar. The fucking Los Angeles Lakers just got blown out. Or they lost. I don't know. They didn't get blown out. I was thinking about somebody else. They lost, though. Once again, to the Denver Nuggets. They lost. Once again, they were supposed to go on this run to make the playoffs. They were supposed to go on this run, but they didn't. And after the game, even though the media was asking him questions, all he wanted to talk about was surpassing Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. And I thought this would have put a kibosh on this whole fake authenticity thing. Because a lot of times when I watch interviews and I expect certain answers to come out of somebody's mouth, I'll say the response in my head. And if they say it, great. If they don't say it, then I'm starting to think about a whole bunch of other shit. So when they asked LeBron, how did he feel about surpassing Michael Jordan, or what did it mean, or, the thing that I said to myself was just say, surpassing Michael Jordan is a great accomplishment for me. But right now, I'm focused on why this team can't win. That would have been a great response. But no. He talked about how much he idolized Michael Jordan, how much he wanted to be like Michael Jordan, how much he wanted to, how much he wanted to surpass Michael Jordan. And how can you elevate yourself over anybody that you idolize this much that you want to be like them? I get admiring the way somebody plays or admiring the game of somebody that you like, but wanting to be like them, almost like a deity figure. How could you ever be greater than them when you spent your life looking up to them? Or you spent your life trying to get approval from them, or you spent your life trying to surpass them? Like, I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan wanted to surpass people. I'm pretty sure he wanted to beat every fucking body. But not once did you ever hear, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. Not once did you ever hear Michael Jordan come out and say, he looked up to Julius Erving. I want to be like Dr. J. Even though he may have patterned his game after Julius Erving. He never came out and said, I always wanted to be like Dr. J. Because when you're in a competitive field like professional athletes, the one thing you don't want to do is show too much love to somebody else. And I get it, man. I get it. It's somebody you idolize, man. But this is a guy that you're talking about competing against for the greatest player of all time moniker. And for him to come out, and I think that completely takes him out the argument for him to come out and say that I wanted to be like Michael Jordan. I wanted to be like Michael Jordan. Shit. I mean, Kobe went a step further and completely just took everything that Jordan did and he implemented it into his way he plays. Like, even down to the fucking mannerisms and the way he walks. Like, Kobe went a step further with it. But I don't know, man. I mean, when I play sports, the last thing I was thinking about, I want to be this person. I want to be that person. I want to be my own man. And if I succeed in my own wave, on my own wavelength, great. If I don't, cool. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that much to me to be somebody else. And I never wanted to be somebody else. As a man, you should never aspire to be somebody else. You should always aspire to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's one of the things that LeBron has always lacked throughout his entire playing career that I've seen. I mean, he's too busy trying to be this person that he believes everybody else wants him to be instead of trying to be himself. And then when he tries to be himself, he's so fake with it. And it's like he'll do things that is completely LeBron, but he'll coat it with all these niceties that he know that people love him for. And I don't know. I just think that's the nature of a very damaged individual. And I do feel bad for LeBron a lot of times, man, because I know being that young in the spotlight is hard. Being that young where everybody is scrutinizing everything you do. Like with Skip Bayless and his constant barrage when LeBron was younger. And I can see how that can get to you when you're a young kid. You're aspiring to be one of the most, one of those pivotal athletes in your era. And you have people taking almost personal shots at you. And then what makes things worse, your own mother is doing all this other bullshit behind your back that's kind of making it hard for you to actually live your own life. And sometimes I feel sorry for him for that, because he didn't ask for that. And I'm pretty sure that his career could have been a lot better if he could have got out from under a lot of that pressure and that spotlight. I'm not saying that if LeBron could go back, because I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not sure if LeBron could go back, he would change the hype surrounding his name. But a lot of times our interactions with other people dictate our path in life, man. And I'm just, hopefully he'll figure it out the older he gets. But let's get to the video. I'm sorry I spent so much talking. Damn. Real quick before this starts, I forgot to answer the question that they're going to ask. The question was, does him surpassing Michael Jordan on the all-time list in scoring put him above Jordan in the GOAT conversation? No, it does not. No, it does not. Who's the all-time leading passer? Drew Brees or Peyton Manning? But when you talk about the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, there's only two names that are at the top of the list. It's Joe Montana and it's Tom Brady. Neither one of those guys is number one in passing yards or passing touchdowns for that matter. So, yeah, I don't think this will change anything. Now, if LeBron had the same amount of championships, if he had the same amount of I don't know. It's complicated with LeBron, man, because you can't really make a stat argument because he accrues so many numbers, man. Like, if you just go off the numbers alone, LeBron is the GOAT. If you just go off the numbers alone, like he accrues so many stats, and that's what he's trying to build his argument on is numbers. And this is why I say numbers matter to LeBron because he's trying to base his argument on numbers. This is why he's accumulating so much. This is why he's trying to rest as much as he can. And another thing, and this is why those 18 games that he missed, this is why I believe he was resting. When you rest, your stats stay the same. For the games you don't play, your stats don't change. If you started resting during this game and your point numbers are 25.6 and you miss like 3 weeks, once you come back, your points number is still 25.6. I mean, your numbers don't change. And I believe LeBron cares more about the numbers at this point than he does about winning. Now, I'm not saying he wouldn't want to win, but if he could win and get his numbers, he's happy.
Scoring list after passing Michael Jordan last night. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Stephen Jackson. Good to have you.
Morning.
All right, Stephen, how much did last night?
We killing them too.
I know this is working today. We've got a theme going. I'm gonna give
we got the
style. Yeah, I'll give Wardrobe Auto Margo some credit for this one. Okay, when you think about last night, when you think about LeBron, how much did last night help LeBron in terms of the argument to be the best ever, the greatest ever?
Well, he's great already. He's not the best ever. I mean, yes, he's passed Jordan, but when he passed Jordan in championships, Finals MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, scoring titles, and all defensive teams, then he'll pass MJ. I didn't want to have to run all that down.
Why don't we just preach a little more?
I didn't have to run all that down.
We like it. Why don't we just go on to the next question? We can just change the topic. Yeah.
Championships,
over.
Defensive Player of the Year, MVPs, Finals MVPs.
Thank you. Case closed.
I said it yesterday.
All awards that show your proficiency at the job you do. And I'm not saying that LeBron, shouldn't have won more MVP awards, and and he was, a lot of times he was unfortunate in the NBA Finals. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't change the fact that you didn't win those finals, series, and you didn't win the MVP awards. If your numbers, because he's a numbers guy, if your numbers were so much better than everybody else's, that they couldn't deny you would have won them. But I don't put too much stock in a lot of awards, man, because a lot of these awards are narrative driven. So I don't put too much stock in them anyway. But they matter in the argument of who is the greatest. They matter.
I said, okay.
Thank you. Over.
Yeah, and I still got Jordan said. Oh, no. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It is a big deal because he's great. Hold on, wait a minute. Now, one of Michael Jordan, the greatest attribute that Michael Jordan possessed on the basketball court was scoring. My guy, not known as a scorer. Basket.
To who? Who is he not known as a scorer to? Besides the LeBron junkies, man. Who is he not? This dude is a fucking scorer. When you can average 25 to 30 points a game for years, you're a fucking scorer, man. Because if you average 27, 28, 29, you're at the top of the fucking list. Now, unless you want to say that a lot of those points, like if he's averaging 27 points in a season, if you tell me 17 of those points came by accident, sure. If 17 points a game of that total came by accident, maybe you could make an argument for that. But he's a fucking scorer, man. He's a score first. He's a score first. He's not a pass first. He's a score first. He's Russell Westbrook. You know, he's an even more efficient Russell Westbrook. You know, like he's like 5 levels above what Rajon Rondo used to be. But he could score better. LeBron's a fucking scorer, man. There's no way you can average 27 points in your fucking career and you're not a fucking scorer. Allen Iverson averaging what, 30? No, 28. Jordan averaged 30. Like, you're a fucking scorer, bro. Just get over it, man.
I consider him a scorer.
No, don't do that. No, you don't. Don't do that. Nobody considers it because they're like, okay, these dudes.
Who? They need to ask this nigga, who are these nobodies? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people consider this nigga a scorer, man. Like, all right, when you play 2K, for anybody out there that plays 2K, when you play 2K, there is no way that you use LeBron and you're not attacking a fucking basket. Or, you know, you're just passing the ball the whole time. The pass first players that Shannon is trying to make LeBron out to be are John Stockton, Steve Nash, even Magic Johnson. No, especially Magic Johnson. Not even Magic, especially Magic Johnson. Fucking Jason Kidd, Chris Paul. Those are pass first guys. Even Rondo was a pass first guy. LeBron's not a pass first guy, man. He's a score first. He's a score first, and if his scoring option breaks down, he'll look to get rid of the ball. Like, because a lot of times, like, look at him when he plays, man. A lot of times when LeBron gets the ball, he'll bring it down the court to about the halfway mark. He'll start to make his moves at the half court mark. And once he gets about to the 3-point line, he's going to make his decision whether he wants to drive, whether he wants to put on a couple of moves to get a score, or whether he wants to kick it out. That's when he makes his decision. At the half court line, you'll see him stop. You'll see him march towards the 3-point line, and he's sizing up the defender. And he's either looking to score most of the time or pass, man. And that's just what it is. It's what it is. If you look at him, he does the same shit every time. Because I don't know how many times I've seen this nigga hesitate and fake like he's about to drive to the basket and then kick it out. Because he's a fucking scorer, man. And
he couldn't score like Kobe, or he couldn't score like MJ, or he couldn't score like this one.
He's 6'9", 280.
No, they're talking about shooting, you ignorant ass. They're talking about shooting the ball. He's not a shooter like Michael. He's not a shooter like Kobe. LeBron can drive the fucking lane, and he can't be fucking stopped. Once he gets to about the 5 foot range from the basket, this nigga's unstoppable. Even with contact, he's making most of his layups, and he's dunking the ball at an extremely high level. Once LeBron goes in the fucking air, the chances of you forcing him not to make the fucking make the dunk, the shit goes in. I'm sorry, he's a fucking scorer.
He's the greatest attacker in the basket ever.
You don't get with scoring and having extra drive and mama mentality confused. Don't get it confused. You know what? Mama mentality and scoring is 2 different things. You don't leave Beaumont without drive. Right? You don't leave Akron, Ohio, going to a 15-year-old mother with no dominant male figure in your life and become that without drive. Right. So scale back.
All right. I don't know where the fuck that came from, but I'm thinking maybe it came from when Skip said he's one of the greatest drivers of the basketball. Maybe that's what ignited that in Shannon's head. But nobody was talking about his upbringing. They were talking about the way he plays the game. Now, unless the way he plays the game has something to do with his childhood, what you're saying doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's not crucial to the fucking argument. You're just, again, man, you're making these fucking arguments. It's goddamn LeBron fans, bro.
Again, this man has more points, more rebounds, more assists, better field goal percentage, better 3-point percentage. The only thing he doesn't have free throw percentage. But I mean, 1, 2, 3,
easiest
4, 5.
All right, now to go off of what Shannon just remarked on, I guess he's comparing his numbers to Jordan's. LeBron at this point in his career has already played 2 more years than Michael Jordan. This is a different era. This is a different type of league that LeBron is in. This is not the same league 20 years, 30 years ago when Michael Jordan was drafted. This is a different league. All right? And a lot of Jordans, and back then, everybody had a fucking job. The big man's job was to protect the rim, rebound. Score in the post if you can, but your primary job is defense, low post defense, and rebounding. And Jordan at his position was a shooting guard. His job was to shoot. Now, being a small forward, it changes over time, man, and there's different types of small forwards. But LeBron is the type of small forward where he's a mix between a power forward and a shooting guard. His job is to score, rebound, and get whatever, I guess loose plays that he could possibly get. Those 50-50 plays, that's his job, is to make those fucking plays. But his job is to score and rebound. Passing is for the fucking point guard.
5 out of 6 ain't bad. 5 out of 6 ain't bad, Skip Bayless. Got 4, he gonna get another one. I believe he would have been in serious contention with this his 5th MVP had he not gotten hurt. Now that's by the wayside.
Now I've already said I don't believe I don't believe LeBron James got hurt. I believe he was resting. In the past, LeBron, just like anybody on the Spurs, they used to get in trouble for resting during the regular season when he wasn't hurt. When they were fully healthy and they were able to play, they used to get in trouble for resting. Now, what's the only way that you could sit the fuck out without getting in trouble for it is if you're hurt. So you have to tell them you're hurt so that way you can sit out as much as you want to. And I honestly believe him sitting out is the reason why this team just completely fell the fuck apart. They were so used to the way this dude played that when he went out, they didn't have an identity. And that's what LeBron does. He strips you of your identity as a basketball team. And you're forced to play his style of basketball. And then when he's not there to help you play his style of basketball, you fail. Because nobody on that court is LeBron James. And this is why his teams don't play well when he goes the fuck out. And a lot of people want to make the argument, oh, it's because they're not good enough, with him not being there. They're not good enough. No, that's not it. That's not fucking it. What it is LeBron forces you to play his style of basketball. And when you get used to playing with him in his style, when he goes out and you're forced to play his style without him, nobody can do it because nobody can do what he can do nowadays. LeBron does so much. Nobody can make up for that kind of production. Nobody's 6'8", 230 and is able to run and jump like a fucking guard. Nobody has all those abilities. And nobody is as intelligent as he is on the basketball court to be able to think through a lot of what happens on the court. So you leave your team at a serious disadvantage. Like if LeBron played in a system designed by the coach, the team would be more successful. And this is why all his teams fell. Like nobody ever asks that question. Why does all the teams with LeBron not on them fail when he's not there? And then when he comes back, they play so much better. A lot of the LeBron fans want to chalk it up to him being great and him making everybody else around him better. And that's not it. When Kevin Love was in Minnesota, he was a 2020 player. He was a 2020 player. Kyrie was a phenomenal scorer. I mean, he was a young kid, but Kyrie could have did a lot more, honestly. You know, Chris Bosh coming from Toronto. Even D-Wade's numbers went down. And that's expected playing on a team with other superstar players as your numbers are supposed to go down. Why the fuck is LeBron's numbers staying the fucking same while everybody else's numbers is going the fuck down? Like, LeBron in Miami was the same stat line as LeBron in Cleveland. But D-Wade's numbers go down. Fucking Chris Bosh numbers goes way down.
James Harden's gonna win that. But Skip Bayless, you know what? For me, we ain't seen no greatness like this before. Nobody's possessed this longevity to be able to do this. Not Michael, because Michael took 2 years off, and then he took another 3 years off, and then he went to Washington. We gonna just sweep that under the rug. But he did go to the Wizards. At the time, I think they were known. Were they still the Wizards or were they the Bullets?
We don't care about this. We're talking about who is greater.
You know who's greater.
No way. You know what? I am increasingly offended that we're even asking
I'm
this
offended
question.
that you offended.
Because it's not even close. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. You know, let's just start with this. And this man understands. I covered him. He played against him. He knows. You know, but you won't.
Why are we making such a big deal? Because everything is on sale at Ringmore Flanagan. Save big on living rooms, dining rooms, and bedrooms. And with delivery in 3 days or less, your home will be a big deal in no time. Find it, feel it, furnish it fast.
Don't admit.
No.
We are talking about the all-time cold-blooded basketball killer.
Yes.
Killer. It was the greatest intangible package I've ever seen. It was a force of nature on the basketball court. There have been times, as great as LeBron is, that I have questioned his mental toughness occasionally. Here and there, just here and there.
Occasionally. Like, I remember Skip Bayless used to just have an all-out assault going at LeBron. All-out assault, man. It was no holds barred with this dude. But occasionally, I used to do this and do that.
What happened at the end of Game 1 last year when he had him on the ropes at Oakland. And then he just threw a fit and he pouted on the bench and he separated himself from his teammates and he pouted for the first 2.5 minutes of overtime. That Jordan just doesn't do that.
The reason why LeBron does that is because he has his fans behind him that are going to lift him up, that are going to raise him up. And even the media that loves LeBron, man, they're going to raise him up. LeBron could do that because LeBron has a following behind him. A lot of times what keeps these athletes from underperforming as far as what their job is, a lot of times what keeps them up, their pedestal up, is their fans, man. Their fans keep them up. Like, a lot of people want to say how great Russell Westbrook has been playing with the triple doubles. He's a fucking stat pattern. And the only ones that fucking raises this dude up is the ones that love him.
It wasn't his fault that JR got into my stash in my dressing room.
That was the issue.
Can't let that completely derail you in a Game 1 that you were tied going into overtime.
We should have won it in regulation.
You should have. You should have won it in overtime. You had them on the run, man.
He averaged a triple-double for that series, though.
You know, all I need to start with is 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. That's unconquerable. That's invincible. That's it. That's all-time, game over, case closed.
So it's all about championships, right?
Well, that's just the start of it, because when one guy has 10 scoring titles to the other guy's 1, that's extraordinary.
And
the gap is so great.
So he should be way ahead in points. 10 scoring titles to 1.
And, you know, unfortunately, basketball is a two-way game, unlike football. You know, they don't do it. You didn't have to play defense.
No, I didn't.
Right? And I think you could have, but...
There are plenty of videos going around YouTube with LeBron just standing in one spot. Like, there was one play I saw where somebody, I believe it was Kuzma, that was getting beat down low. Like, he was just getting backed down like it was nothing. And LeBron was just standing there watching, didn't provide no help. He wasn't covering anybody because he was just standing in the middle of the area. He was just standing there watching Kuzma get bullied down there. I believe it was Julius Randle that was bullying him. And there was another play I watched where LeBron watched two of his teammates battle people down in the paint for rebounds, and the other team just kept getting the rebound, and they eventually made the shot, and he threw his hands up in the air like, what are y'all doing? Like, nigga, you're standing around, you're allowing your teammates to get bullied out here, and you're supposed to be the greatest player on the planet. Your job is to help your teammates. LeBron doesn't teach these guys. And this is the problem. And this is why he doesn't make anybody better. LeBron does not teach these guys what he knows about the game that he knows will fucking help them. Because LeBron likes, even if LeBron loses, it's like the Kobe thing that I said earlier. Even if LeBron loses, he likes to lose being the best than winning and knowing that he had fucking help. Because that part of his career is over. Because, people were making too much of a big deal about him being on a super team. And people made too much of a big deal about him having Kyrie and Kevin Love. And you take some of that mystique off of LeBron as far as his greatness. So now he'd rather stay on these shitty fucking teams that won't win because he's the best player, man. And I'm honestly... To be honest with you, I think LeBron loves it when his team doesn't play well when he's not in the fucking game because it just elevates his value.
It wouldn't let you because
LeBron is an attention whore. Grade A, textbook attention whore.
Just don't do that anymore.
Right.
But in basketball, you have to play defense. This man really played defense. Michael Jordan really played it because one year he won Defensive Player of the Year.
LeBron should have won it.
9
They gave it to Mark Gasol.
I should have. When? Even when LeBron was playing defense, I mean, this dude wasn't the best defender.
Should have been a 2-time All-Star.
Right.
Should have, would have.
9 times Jordan was first team all defense. I'm giving your man this. He was 6 times.
6.
But 9 times. 3 times. Michael Jeffrey Jordan led the whole league in steals 3 times. LeBron never did that.
No.
But I'm not holding that against him.
That's a normally guards lead the league. Okay. Allen Iverson led the league in steals at 5'11". Guards don't get Defensive Player of the Year though. Yeah, they do.
I can't remember the last guard I've seen win Defensive Player of the Year. Usually the ones that win Defensive Player of the Years are oversized small forwards or power forwards or centers nowadays. I really can't remember the last time I seen a guard win Defensive Player of the Year. I even doubt if they won one during the 2000s, honestly.
Maybe Alvin Robertson is the only guy.
Let's put Michael Jordan and Alvin Robertson in the same.
Very few guards get it. It's always big.
And then let's talk about those intangibles. Obviously, Jordan never melted down in a finals against the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. Jordan just wouldn't do what LeBron did.
He was always favored.
Okay.
Well, he was bold to win.
His first go round with the Heat, and there was a lot of pressure, and they're up 2-1, and then the chosen one became the frozen one. I've never seen anything quite like it. But that never happened to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't need to miss a shot with 7 seconds left in Game 6 of the 2013 finals against the San Antonio Spurs. He didn't need to miss one and have a lucky rebound bounce out where it got kicked to Ray Allen, where he made the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen to save LeBron's legacy. That was not a call play. It wasn't Ray's play. It just happened.
What happened?
It saved. It took LeBron off the
overtime.
He did. My Spurs were shot in the heart.
Hold on.
Because I wasn't.
Hold on.
You know what?
Hold on. Why were they shot in the heart? Now you just told me LeBron had Golden State. But the Millie Tug with Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker and Kawhi, coached by Pop, and LeBron snatched it from him.
Go back and look at the Miami Hurricanes documentary. I think the second one. The U2 or something like that. Some bullshit. But some bullshit name that they had. But in that one, there was, I believe it was a championship game against somebody. I forgot who it was. It could have been Oklahoma, Ohio State. It was one of those teams. And the Miami Hurricanes, it was overtime. They scored in overtime to win the game. and everybody's celebrating, everybody's running off the court, off the field. Everybody believes they won the game. Then the refs call it a no touchdown, and they force them to play again. And during that play, I believe one of their players got hurt. I believe it was Willis McGahee got hurt. It was somebody. Somebody got hurt. The air left the stadium. Even the players was like, it killed us. It killed us. We thought we won, and it kind of took our edge away. When you make a play that you believe is going to win you the game, and you don't win because fortunately it goes in the other team's favor, whatever the play is, it completely takes the air out of you. Because in your mind, you're thinking at this point in the game, we should be going home. This game should be over. We should have won already. And that's what you're thinking about instead of focusing on the game. And again, that was the Spurs' fault. It wasn't LeBron's fault. It was the Spurs' fault. But if Greg Popovich didn't make a crucial mistake by taking Tim Duncan out that game, then I believe the Spurs would have won that game. They would have won that series. And now instead of talking about LeBron being a 2-time NBA champion, we're talking about LeBron losing 3 of his first 4 NBA Finals appearances in his career. And then we're talking about a completely different story.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, right.
You said like you didn't have D-Wade. Yeah. But I'm saying, hold up, you discredited D-Wade. He's a Hall of Famer too. Chris Bosh a Hall of Famer too. No, hold on. But see, he keeps talking about that game 6 and the missed shot. Mm-hmm. He won't talk about LeBron scored 16 because they were down 10 points in the fourth quarter.
And this is what these LeBron fans do, man. They completely just take everybody else out of the equation and they put all the congratulations on LeBron. And then when it comes time to pass around the criticism, LeBron gets 0% of the criticism. He gets all of the sympathy and all this other shit. Now, who was the player that got the rebound in that game 6? That crucial rebound in game 6 and then kicked it out to Ray Allen to win the game? Chris Bosh. But when you talk about game 6 to Shannon, he never brings that up. He never brings. Fortunately, Chris Bosh ripped the ball down, passed it out to Ray Allen, and they got the game, I believe, game tying 3. I'll bring that up.
LeBron scored 16, assisted on another 6, so 22 of the 30 they scored. King James.
What you won't talk about is that LeBron James in the last 3 minutes of that game had 3 unforced error turnovers, highly uncharacteristic of LeBron James. But he is high turnover. Jordan not high turnover. Jordan had the ball in his hands more than LeBron.
He wasn't.
And that's one of those things that this is the reason why some of these players have high turnovers, is because this is why you'll see that point guards have the highest turnover rates out of any other player on the court, any other position on the court, is because they normally have the ball in their hands the most. Not with LeBron, man. With LeBron, he's the king of the turnovers, man, because he holds the ball so damn much.
Usage rate higher on average, yes, for Jordan. Mm-hmm. Ball in hand.
Yes.
Turnovers way higher for LeBron.
If you got the ball more, shouldn't you have more assists?
Yes.
So why didn't LeBron?
More turnovers. Guys, if you look at the league, guys that have the ball the most in the NBA always lead the league in turnovers.
Thank you, Skip Bayless.
Okay, but Michael didn't lead.
But he's not trying to. But Mike ain't trying to pass the ball.
But could Mike pass the ball? Yes, he could. He averaged 5.3 assists for his whole career.
And this was the common thing with Michael Jordan that I've learned over the years, is that Michael Jordan did not trust his teammates before they started winning championships. He did not trust his teammates at all. This is why the whole Detroit Pistons, the Jordan role, this is why it was so effective, because he would not trust his teammates to make plays.
It's high, because LeBron has averaged 7.2. 5.3 to 7.2. That's not, it's less than 2 a game in the gap between them.
But how many games y'all played?
80.
Oh, 82 over 16 years. So imagine if I gave you $1 a day times 82 over 16. You got a nice little piece of chain, huh?
Yeah, but the difference is, though, with Jordan, the reason why he shot, because nobody couldn't stop him. Nobody can stop LeBron. He chooses to pass.
He does.
If he had the attitude where I'm finna run over everybody and score every time, he would average.
And that's Skip Bayless's biggest and strongest argument versus LeBron James when it comes to the argument of greatest of all time. And the clutch moments of the game, LeBron, even in the regular season, LeBron passed the ball. He passes the ball almost every fucking time. And now you're starting to see him score more. Like, you're starting to see him score more in the clutch when it comes to those clutch baskets. You're starting to see him take more initiative. But I don't believe LeBron loves the attention like that. That negative attention that comes with missing a shot. Because if LeBron passes it with like 4 seconds left for one more shot, he likes passing it to the three-point shooter because it takes all of the responsibility off him. And the LeBron fans will say he made the best basketball play. Even though through the first 40 minutes of the game, through the first 35 minutes of the game, nobody could stop him. But those last 5 minutes of the game, he's like this most passive individual, in the NBA. Like, he just passes the ball a lot in the crunch. And that's Skip Bayless' strongest argument against him versus Michael Jordan.
We agree.
He would average
Yes.
That's easy.
Yes.
But that's
Ain't
not
nobody stop LeBron
But that's
in the
not
world.
But that's not his deep.
LeBron is so strong. And I said this, I was watching a live stream. I don't know. I don't usually watch live streams. But I was watching a live stream of somebody that was talking about LeBron James or basketball. And they broached the LeBron James topic. And I said, LeBron James, if the calls were called correctly, LeBron James would have the most offensive fouls in the NBA. Because all this guy does, and I watch basketball a good amount, especially during the playoffs. LeBron James will literally lower his shoulder and he'll barrel through the paint. He'll just barrel through the paint. He'll draw a foul, and what he do? He lowers his shoulder. He goes in like a goddamn running back. And as soon as he touches somebody, he'll reach up and he'll try to shoot, or he'll try to lay it up over whoever he put his shoulder into. And he used to get a lot of foul calls that way. And this is why now people would just let him in there, man, because he's so big and strong and physical. There's no way you can stop him with regular defense, because he'll either just go right through your defense or he'll barrel into you and draw a defensive foul. And now I'm glad that they're starting to crack down on a lot of these forced defensive fouls, because there's a lot of forced fouls. Like when you kick your foot out and your foot touches the defensive player gets called for the foul for some fucking reason. So I'm glad they're going to start cracking down on that.
DNA.
Okay, that's true. It's not his DNA, but if he didn't play to the level of his competition and been comfortable with just being a little dominant, if he wanted to be a killer,
He a lot of dominant.
if he wanted to be a killer, though,
He's not allowed to. This is the point they're making. And I believe this when Skip Bayless say this. LeBron James is so scared of the free throw line. He does not want to be on the line at the end of the game. And you know what's funny? I watched a video years ago where they were recapping the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Washington Wizards before LeBron went to Miami, back when he had Gilbert Arenas and Caron Butler. And I believe Arenas was at the line, or somebody was at the line for the Washington Wizards. LeBron walks to the free throw line and says, if you miss this, we're going to win this game. Like, nigga, how fucking cocky do you have to be to tell somebody, if you miss these free throws, we're going to win the game, when you yourself are afraid of the fucking free throw line? Come on, bro. Come on, man.
they would be in the playoffs right now. They would be in the playoffs right now. Oh, that's it. Can't nobody stop it.
Killer, not a killer.
Yeah, his teammates.
So Jordan's biggest assist this year was in 88-89. When he, of course, won that MVP. He averaged 8 assists a game in 88-89, so he's capable. LeBron's biggest assist year is 9.1. So Jordan, in his best year, was only 1 assist off LeBron in his best year.
But you think, okay, that was his best
So
decision.
don't discredit him. Don't say he can't pass the basketball, because he could really pass it.
Well, he can't pass it often. Because you say he don't have to.
Chose not to pass.
Oh, he chose to. You see what
He didn't have to.
He chose not to.
What would you rather do? Scoreboard or
That's what I'm saying. And this is the argument that these LeBron fans like to make. Stats. This is why I say stats are not the only argument that you can make for somebody. You have to be able to have other points besides, oh, he could pass, he could rebound, he could score. Yeah, but what about his numbers in the fourth quarter? What about his numbers in the final minutes of the fourth quarter? What about his player efficiency? People like using that shit, even though it doesn't really calculate how good you are defensively. But
pass? You know, like LeBron. Mike's saying, I got this. I got this.
LeBron is like, see, I'm the type, me and LeBron is a lot of like, you know, I want to start talk time, but they stack. You go.
Yeah, and what he means by that is, well, what he should mean by that is, they spend most of their time on TV talking. They were great when they're great at what they do, but they fucking spend most of their time, you know, goofing the fuck around. Like, if you remember, man, LeBron years ago used to dance on the sideline. He used to do all kinds of bullshit while his teammates were on the court playing. Like, he looked like a little ass kid on the court. And a lot of times I get that notion from Shannon Sharp, almost like a childlike enthusiasm. You know, and he spends most of his time on TV talking, even though nothing he's saying really holds much weight.
Get the point. See, go ahead and do your things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
see, I ain't like you hoard up all the time. You try to hoard up all the time from me. But see, I'll pass.
Y'all different a little way. Because you ride for him. He don't ride for you like
you know. I do agree. You're a lot like LeBron
like you
because you don't have those winners intangibles.
Oh,
you're down like what a net 34 cases a night, dude. So you don't have winners intangibles. You're correct. You're the equivalent of 3 and 6 in the finals, right?
I couldn't even a 2-liter bottle do off you this week. But it's coming though, Skip. You know what?
All right, so that's it. But yeah, that's their argument for LeBron as the GOAT, man.